This country is in a revolution. They're sick and tired of what they're getting, and I happen to be lucky enough to be part of it.
It has been said that when in the course of human events, an oppression so revolts its subject that it becomes necessary to alter or abolish the means of that tyranny. Is it that time when our Bill of Rights is defiled every day? When our adventures abroad threaten our security at home? When the Federal Reserve keeps our free nation enslaved by debt? When the people of the world tremble under the thumb of corporate imperialism? And now, our nation is drifting dangerously from freedom to fascism. So I have to ask, is it time?
And now, from the luxurious albino raccoon recording studios located in the Midwestern heart of America, it's the last Voice for Liberty Network. And here's your host, The Mouth.
Greetings and salutations to all my fellow patriots. It is time. The last Voice for Liberty Network back on the air. I am, of course, your host, The Mouth. As always, laughing and scratching at you folks. It's been a very frustrating weekend for me. And I'll tell you why.
I put away the porn.
We made some posts on our Facebook page that concern Christopher Dorner and that whole situation. Now,
racism everywhere. Everybody pissed off. Black people yelling racism.
And what do I get? Let's see. Folks, I got called a liberal this weekend.
Oh, man.
I wasn't quite sure how to react to it. It threw me off. I've never been called that before. I think that's might possibly be one of the worst insults I've ever had slung at me.
Leave them to me. I will deal with them myself.
Everyone was... we were quite critical of the how the police handled the situation. Now, the confused masses, folks, have been arguing over how Chris Dorner should be even viewed. I mean, should he be considered a villain for killing 3 people, even though he was actually never taken to court and convicted, and even charged? Or should we see him as a hero because he finally had the guts to stand up against the well-known corruption and racism in the LAPD? Now, it's become quite obvious to me that the divisiveness over this issue may actually be the beginning of all of us uniting. I said that to the albino raccoon. What'd you say to me, bud? You said, you're fucking loopy. But you gotta hear me out, folks. Out of every conversation that I've had and every post that I've seen, the official story seems to be in question. What part of it's in question is, where everybody's coming in different, which is why people even call me a liberal. I posted like the first paragraph of this, and then they called me a liberal. That sticks in my craw, okay? You can call me a lot of things. That's not going to bother me. You can call me a rotten, low-down, dirty son of a bitch, and I don't care. But you call me a liberal, dude, and that sticks in my craw, because I have been fighting for, going on almost 6 years now, against the liberal ideology. I've seen throughout history what socialism does, okay? And it fails, it ruins countries, and most importantly, it affects the people the worst.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I've never been a rich man. I don't come from a rich family.
Well,
grew up poor. Got into high school and drugs. Started having a family and having kids at a very young age. Kept me poor.
You're spending the night with Fred Jarman, male president.
Because I screwed myself over, okay? That's the hard lesson that I had to learn. And a lesson that I'm trying to pass on to my children to not ever do. Okay?
It's an even longer story.
But now, we're not passing on these lessons that are making it. They're not passing on the lessons that need to be taught. especially in schools.
You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just keep praying that we can clone one of these hot dogs.
But if this is going to be a mass awakening, which, I felt optimistic when I first wrote this, that it could grow into it because everyone was questioning how exactly things were going on until I started posting about what crimes the police actually pulled to catch a criminal. Now, see, was it really Chris Dorner even who wrote the manifesto, I asked? I saw two versions online. I saw one that leaned more towards the right wing, where he supported right wing members, and I've seen the one where he supports Obama. All right. Well, why did the police shoot the other vehicles that resembled Dorner's after they found his burned up? Were the accusations that Dorner made about racism and abuse in the LAPD true? Or is this just a case of this disgruntled former cop who lost his job and is out for revenge? At that time, we didn't know it.
The day when I would have the proof I needed to haul you out of your cushy lair and expose you to the light of justice.
The vast majority of people believe that racism exists in the LAPD. Okay, with the torrid past Los Angeles has had with racism, like Watts and Rodney King, it's been notoriously implicated in several racially motivated biased occurrences. This has been happening for years and years and years. And the majority of the country wants to just turn a blind eye because we go, well, it's Los Angeles, fucking cesspool, one of the cesspools of the nation. Why should we care? Number one, folks, because there are still Americans living there. Why should we care? We have to care about our fellow Americans. How can we ever expect to unite as a country and come together as one and make this glorious utopia everybody wants to have even a remote possibility when we can't care what the racist Los Angeles Police Department is doing to its people and its citizens? So, hey, we don't live there. I ain't going to Los Angeles anytime soon. Why should I care? Because those people have rights as well as you. And if we don't defend our constitutional rights when ours personally aren't being affected, we don't defend the rights of others when they are being affected and trampled on. It's only a matter of time before it spreads across the country. And it already is. And that's this administration's entire intention. Why do you think that they've been putting these provisions in bills and beefing up Homeland Security and putting DHS in charge of police departments and making them answer to them?
People like this are a menace to decent society.
This is what they're after, guys. This is what I've been saying for years now.
They ain't gonna be messing with me because I'm liable to stuff a mud hole in your ass, you know?
To get back to it, folks, as much as they try to say that the LAPD tries to say that they have eliminated the problems, they can never control what is truly in a man's mind. And no matter how much government tries to regulate our lives and our freedoms and what we eat and what we think and what we say, they can never control what we think. Police brutality, which is a product of unruly suspects. You get some suspects that are out of line and just raising all hell, and you gotta put them, they have to use force in order to do so. That's called necessary force. Police brutality stress comes from stress. You gotta understand that these police officers are out there putting their lives on the line every day to serve and protect the public, which is what they're supposed to be doing. But you wouldn't think that job garners an amount of stress. You say, oh, well, they chose to do this profession. Hey, wait a minute, folks. Yes, they chose to do this profession, but that doesn't mean that the job won't cause them stress. And you can think a psychological disorder. Some of these gentlemen are former soldiers, post-traumatic stress, or you don't even pick one, But police brutality is a problem in nearly every major city. It's going to happen at some point in time. Anytime a police officer uses unnecessary force like striking a suspect after they've been handcuffed or without any physical provocation, then they break the law and they violate the 8th Amendment.
Let's put a smile on that face.
Where does that leave us, folks? Now, what point is to be taken away from all this? If Chris Dorner killed those people, remember now, it was never proven in court of law, nor was he ever formally charged, then the 6th Amendment of the Constitution guarantees him the right to a speedy and public trial. Not only that, the 5th Amendment guarantees him not to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Now that means that the members of the LAPD took the oath to uphold the Constitution, which most police officers do. It was their duty to bring Dorner into stand trial and to face the crimes for which he was accused for in a court of law. That's their job. Their job is not to go out and pass judgment. Now, as they had him trapped and surrounded in the cabin, the firefight ensued, resulting in 2 more officers being shot, of course. He wasn't going to be taken peacefully. He had no intention of that, if at all. He was piling up the trouble he was already in, and he was laying it on thick by continuing to run. Did he know that no matter what, they were going to kill him? Maybe. But after hours of the standoff, San Bernardino police officials ordered the cabin to be burned. We'll talk about that in our second segment today. Justice for a cop killer, according to a lot of other cops and a lot of supporters of law enforcement. This is where people started jumping. He got what he deserved. Piece of shit killed these people. Bleed, 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 bleed. He got what he deserved. Was justice really served here, folks? What? Really? What? Now, Chris Dorner, who was an accused cop killer.
Watch your language in front of the lady, punk!
All right, we got to look at this entire situation real logically, or else we're not going to come to a correct conclusion on this at all. Now, Chris Dorner is the accused being the key word here. He'd been discovered and surrounded by police. 2 officers are shot in the initial moments of the ensuing firefight. Now, after a perimeter is established by authorities, they are 90% in control. Officers have been stationed in safe and effective positions to respond to the ever-evolving situation. They got the cabin surrounded. Several more gunfire exchanges are continuing off and on for, the next couple of hours, while tensions are obviously going to build on both sides. Now, the only thing that the police are not in control of in this entire situation is Chris Dorner himself. They control the perimeter, the ability of Dorner to get fresh supplies, his ammunition supply. By the way, folks, there is no hidden gun or ammo store down underneath the cabin. So, you don't have to worry about your gun laws, coming into effect there. But the inevitable outcome of this entire situation would have only led to a few possibilities, folks. Just a few. He is either A, use all his ammo trying to keep the police at bay, which would, in the end, make a non-lethal apprehension possible. B, he would starve or dehydrate to death without getting any fresh supplies. The police were in control of all that. Or C, he would take his own life.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? What a shitload of fuck.
Obviously, these police had not thought of this. Or they never fucking intended to in the first place. The decision to purposely burn the cabin down with Dorner inside was not only a rash and emotionally charged decision, it was, in fact, folks, criminal. Well, it would be if you and I did it. Tell me I'm wrong. You see, by violating Mr. Dorner's 5th, 6th, and 8th Amendment rights, the police violated their oaths that they took to uphold those amendments. Okay? Therefore, their actions would have set a live Chris Dorner free. If they had taken him alive after all this, they would have set him free, because they violated all his constitutional rights. Now, if the same actions were committed by regular citizens, a.k.a. you or yours truly, they call that murder. Murder.
What the fuck?
Okay, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
Your ex-wife cheats on you and getting ready to leave and kills your dog before she does it. You track her down and find her. You don't call the law to have her brought in and face charges. You light the place she's at on fire and kill her. Guess what that's called, folks? That's called murder. Why is it different if the law does it? Why is it different if the police do it? And when the order came across the radio to send in the burners, we're going to talk about what those are in our second segment as well, is accompanied by the words, like we talked about before, meaning the idea to burn down the cabin was predetermined. Okay, that phrase means that the officials in charge of the situation conspired beforehand to include a strategy that called for burning down the cabin if they found him in one. Now, the irresponsible handling of this entire situation by the police departments involved is criminal. All officers involved should be brought up on charges of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They violated their constraints as public servants and violated the constitutional rights of an American citizen. Guilty or not, Chris Dorner still has the God-given rights as outlined in the Bill of Rights.
Unfucking-leavable. It's staggering.
Now, if we as a country take anything away from this situation, guys, it's got to be this. We cannot allow this crime of murder to punish murder to stand without consequences. They're going to claim it's legal via the NDAA, and, that's where we've got to make our stand. We've got to have foundations in what they're doing, and what they're doing is unconstitutional and wrong. It's violating constitutional rights. They cannot do that. We, the people, have the power to tell them, hold on, asshole.
But they'll never take our freedom!
Two wrongs do not make a right. If we do not enforce the Constitution when the officials violate it, it only leaves it open for them to violate it more, taking each step even further in the advancement of their police state. This is not a country where an eye for an eye is the law. We have due process laws to protect the truly innocent, those who are not guilty of a crime, unjustly accused, and facing undue punishment. The second that we don't apply the laws equally, we secede our own rights, little by little as well. We cannot be selective on who we enforce the law against. We cannot be selective on which cases we enforce the Constitution in. Either we're going to enforce the laws of the Constitution, or we forsake it altogether. Either we apply these laws equally, or we do away with freedom altogether as well. Guys, we've got to put an end to this. If these men are not brought up on charges, formally brought up on charges, to face criminal charges for the murder of an American citizen who was never formally charged with the crime at all. Okay? Who will be next? And for what little crime will be next? Why do we have courts at all? The police can go out and pass judgment on you at their whim. Folks, this irritates me. During the break, I'm gonna play a couple of videos there for you concerning this case before we come back from our next segment, and including some words from the hostages he supposedly had taken, which really turns out that he never really took anybody hostage. When we come back on the Last Voice, the Liberty Network.
catches up with me, I'll spend my life in jail.
Witnesses and evidence never matched the story that Dorner gave. He, made these false accusations a day after the trainer gave him a bad review. So his story never seemed to make sense.
The trainer, the female police officer who was his trainer, is the person who accompanied him to arrest this mentally ill person, and he claimed a long time afterwards that she kicked the mentally ill guy in the head. The mentally ill guy testified that she did. The disciplinary review board, a district court judge, a trial judge, and an appellate court all found
so
his
why are we
testimony
looking at it
believable.
again?
The only reason I can speculate is, they really want to bring this guy in, and they may be sending messages to him to induce him to come in. If they can sort of get him to calm down a little bit, falsely engender the belief in him that maybe he's going to have another trial, which would be the least of his issues if he comes back in. He's probably going to be tried for murder first if he comes in alive. He might turn himself in. That might be their hope here. But as for the law about reopening, it's just too late. It's too little too late. No purpose can be served. This is a closed case. He was tried fairly, and the trial was challenged, and the outcome was upheld on appeal.
I wonder if there's another aspect to it. More than a decade ago, the Rampart Division of the LAPD was just rife with corruption, false testimony by officers putting innocent people behind bars, lots of loss of confidence in Los Angeles over the police department back then. Maybe this chief, a different chief, is trying to prevent that from happening again.
Well, it could be. I mean, normally this is not a case appropriate to reopen under the procedural history or under the law. But in this case, where this guy on the screen, the ex-cop, has been accused of killing people in a vendetta, perhaps leading them to believe that it's going to be opened again, leading the public to believe it's going to be opened again, will help with the public perception of all this. They have a serious issue on their hands. They have to find him. They hope to find him alive. They hope not to kill him. They hope to try him, so the facts in this case will come out.
Judge Andrew Napolitano, as always, good to see you.
I can tell you that it was not on purpose. We did not intentionally burn down that cabin to get Mr. Dorner out. The tear gas canisters that we used, first off, we used a presence when we showed up. Secondly, we used a cold tear gas. Then we used, the next tear gas was that was pyrotechnic. Does generate a lot of heat. We introduced those canisters into the residence, and a fire erupted.
Number 3 side, heads up, reporting the number 1 side right now. Reporting the 1-2. Okay, far corner, give me number side. What corner? I think you're meaning the 1-2 corner. You're on the 1, so to your left would be the street side would be 2. Do you mean that corner? Yeah, that's copy. All right, Steve, we're gonna go forward with the plan with the burner. Copy. I want it like we talked about.
The pyrotechnic type canisters are commonly referred to as burners.
7 burners deployed and we have a fire.
Copy, 7 burners deployed and we have a fire.
Guys, be ready on the number 4 side. We have fire in the front. It might come out the back. Ready. Moving on the 4 side. Remember your backdrop. Sam 1.
62, Sam 1.
Contact fire to staging up on the 38 Glass Road. Can you have me bring these 2 down here? It sounds like 1 shot fired from inside the residence.
Copy, 1 shot fired from inside the residence. Confirming you still want fire to roll in?
Roll in and stage.
Copy, they're staged at Glass and 38.
Stanley, fire will be staging at the first contact with the first armored units down there. There'll be a quarter out.
Copy, thank you.
We're seeing right now, obviously, very big flames engulfing at least 1/3 to 1/2 of this cabin. Not only does it abbreviate the time frame, and as you can see, the fire seems to be spreading out now. We've been told devices were used in a tactical operation.
Fully engulfed, fire moving to 3 now. Copy, number 2 and 4, fully engulfed.
Like to start to collapse. From give me some time here. We're not quite there. I still have the G3 corner that is vulnerable.
Beyond this sweat of blood, living on the recent stage, balancing out on the ledge, living on the recent stage, you know.
To the last voice for Liberty Network. I'm your host, The Mouth. Folks, you heard during our break the hostages, or quote-unquote hostages. It sounds like he just tied them up for a minute so he can get away. It really did. So, then you heard the police. I don't really know how else to explain it, guys. I mean, I just don't. I had my aunt asked me, posed a question to me this weekend. You know, the police, she's liberal, yes, of course. But the police killed Chris Dorner for taxpayer purposes or police budgets to save money. People have been saying this for, it saved taxpayers money. Save taxpayers money. You're weighing an unbacked currency against a human being's life.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Now, look, folks, we cannot at all justify how Chris Dorner handled his situation, okay? I can't at all. I mean, especially if he took the lives of those people. Of course, that was never be proven in court. But, you know, it's the LAPD who he was decrying and saying that they, you know, exposing them for the corruption and problems that are going on in there. It's them saying that he killed these people.
Don't give me attitude, sir.
You know, hey, I don't know how much I buy that to begin with. But I'll tell you this, folks.
Fuck
they damn sure didn't kill him for any financial reason.
Fuck the police, yo, fuck them.
Not at all. The police shot 3 other people during their search for him. claiming that they were mistaking the people's vehicles for Dorner's truck, okay? Innocent mistakes, a lot of people are saying. It's just an innocent mistake. They're trying to find a dangerous man. Dangerous man that...
And I don't trust that shit at all.
Okay, besides the point. I still call bullshit. You know why? Because 2 of the people were shot after the police found his burning truck.
This is a fucked up Republican shit.
His truck was burned out and abandoned. And they're still shooting up vehicles that they think look like his. One they were shot due to mistaken identity, they say, before the police found his truck, was a 5'4" Asian woman, okay?
What are you, a fucking moron?
It's a far cry from Chris Dorner, who's a 6'+ black man. The guy was huge and built like a brick shithouse. Looked like he could move a Yugo with his bare hands. Yugos were really small cars back in the late 80s, early 90s for you young kids. Folks, they killed him to shut him up. Notice how the media has all but completely ignored Dorner's claims against the LAPD. Okay, now, I know everyone thinks that I'm Mr. Conspiracy, but in the press conference that the San Bernardino police that you heard earlier, their spokesperson said, and I quote, "We never intended to set the cabin on fire." Now, I want to point that out. We never intended to set the cabin on fire. That soundbite was repeated constantly by a majority of the mainstream media. But not minutes later, as he was explaining what steps they took to lead into the cabin fire, what did he say? He said, "We used cold canister tear gas bomb at first, which was not incendiary, but that didn't get the results we wanted. So we decided to use the burners. The decision to use the burners was put into place." Now, burners, as you heard him explain, are a pyrotechnic type tear gas bomb that, according to him, puts out quite a bit of heat.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Police radio, as you heard, confirmed that they deployed 7 burners. Shortly after which they reported 7. Now, folks, here's where, I've got to point this out. If they did not intend to set the cabin on fire, that leaves only one explanation. Just one. Okay? And that's plain fucking stupidity. It's just dumb. What possible outcome could they have possibly expected to have happen when they threw 7 pyrotechnic devices into a dry wood cabin?
Freaking retarded.
What are you, a fucking moron?
So, folks, that's your 2 choices. They're either set to kill him no matter what, to shut him up, so nothing more could come of this. Or they're just too fucking stupid to know what would happen when they threw fire into a tinderbox. I really do not believe the latter.
Get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Neither scenario, neither one, is a valid excuse in my eyes, nor is it valid according to the laws of the Constitution. Now, Chris Dorner's crime has actually become secondary, now obsolete. Because if the police break the laws to get him, especially when there's a more peaceful resolution available, as I explained in our first segment.
Finish the fucking story, man. What happened? What about the glass?
What's the point of trying to argue his crime?
Good night, sweet prince.
I mean, really? Is this Sharia law? Are we full-on Muslim country now, eye for an eye? Because that's how they do it over there, folks.
Have you lost your mind?
You want to have that revenge killing and eye for an eye bullshit? That's what it is. You want to bring it here?
Oh, wait. I got a better idea. How about I send you a hobo's dick cheese?
Now, the police who orchestrated and conspired to burn the cabin have to be prosecuted. Have to be. Must be. Dorner cannot answer for his crimes anymore. Nor, here's another thing nobody even talks about. He can't even be confronted by his accusers, the family of his victims.
Where are you? In a glass case of emotion.
This a forgotten group right there whose constitutional right to confront the man who killed their family members was taken away by the San Bernardino Police Department and their ever-seeing eye of justice.
Has everyone done that? Who the hell do you think you are?
These officers acted so callously and so negligently, rushing to hush up the bad publicity coming from Dorner, that they did not even consider the laws of the land and the constitutional rights of every citizen. Okay, now being willfully incompetent, aka stupid, is not grounds to dismiss any charges, especially when we're talking about police here, who we're supposed to be holding to a higher standard.
You disgust me. Go on.
This has really serious national implications, folks. It needs to be pointed out that these men violated Dorner's constitutional rights with no real legal precedence to. Whatever, you call me a nut all you want, but Chris Dorner was never formally charged with the crime. Now, he alluded to committing the crimes in his manifesto, but never admitted to it. He was never brought before a judge or even formally charged. I'm not by any means claiming that he's innocent. For all I know, he's guilty of sin. He killed 25 other people that we don't know about. I don't know. But I do know that our justice system does have procedures in place that police are supposed to follow. And it seems here that none of the officials in the area even attempted to do that.
Pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, giant twerp, scumbag, foot-faced, dickhead, asshole!
I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time. One of the best singers, one of the best looking motherfuckers you've ever seen. Hold my breath.
This is in no way an indictment of the police in general, okay? I don't want to get that. That's where I'm getting a lot of flack from, is people who support law enforcement going, well, you can't say that about the cops. What do you mean? Yes, I can. These cops in this situation did this. They committed this fucking crime. I can say it. Because they did it. On TV.
I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you!
I'm not talking about all police when I talk about this. I'm talking about these individuals who acted in this situation. There are great police officers all around this country. There are almost 500,000 Americans that comprise local law enforcement in this country. Okay, and the wicked amongst them represent actually a very small percentage when compared. You got to take into account that some of these wicked people that have gotten the positions, as they're all corrupt, as in what policies are allowed to be set, what things get a blind eye turned to. Reports of the LAPD being corrupt and racists have been around longer than I've been alive. So don't come down on me saying I'm talking about all cops, because I'm not. I'm talking about the police who acted in this situation. They need to be brought up on charges and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for violating the constitutional rights of an American citizen. We don't uphold the Constitution, folks. What are we doing? What's it there for? We might as well just go let Barack Obama take the lighter to it, burn it up, and forget it ever happened. It just makes zero sense to me, folks, for us to not expect those who are there to uphold the laws to abide by them as well. Okay, they can't be allowed to violate the constitutional rights of anyone. And if this case gets allowed, and no police are prosecuted at all for these, we leave it open to it happen again, at total police discretion, with practically no laws restraining them, and every single law restraining the American public. That is the police state defined.
Do as I say, and you live.
There's no two ways around it, guys. That's what it is.
Darkness, everybody! Everyone! Darkness is ready!
That's what you want. Go ahead and keep supporting these assholes who murdered this man. That's what you want. Enjoy Sharia law. Enjoy it. Hope you have fun. As for me, I don't. I don't stand for that. I don't want somebody all of a sudden, I didn't pay my parking ticket, and next thing you know, pop, pop, pop. Cops putting 3 bullets in their head because you're getting irritated about it. They just come out and dispense justice. Hey, somebody said you killed someone. Pop. I can't take it. I won't stand for it. I won't be subject to it. I will continue to raise holy hell about it, tell everyone about it. We will get together and stand against it. We have to. Why are we organizing? I'd like to make a call today to all you folks out there on Facebook. I know not everybody watches this. I don't get a whole lot of viewers. I'm a big loudmouth asshole. But Jiminy Christmas, all of us political pages on Facebook that sit and talk about and point these out, why aren't we organizing better and getting together better? And more protests in the cities to start letting the government know, hey, you guys are wrong. And we're not going to fucking stand for it anymore. Why aren't we doing that? I'll make a call to all of you out there today. If you're on social media network, you start talking, get in touch with each other. The different pages, let's get in touch with each other. There's great groups and sections. I belong to like 50-some groups because I want to keep in touch and start networking and getting everyone together. We're on the verge of it. But we need better organization. We need to talk more. We need to put forth the goddamn effort. We got to put boots on the ground. And we have to do it all together. Most people don't work on weekends. Some people do. If you can't make it at a certain point in time, don't just make these things last an hour. If only 10 of you show up the first time, do it again a week later. 15 the next time. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Don't just wait a month. Schedule with your getting permits from downtown so you can set up microphones and speakers. You can get little miniature amplifiers that run on batteries. Okay? Grab that, about $20 worth of 9-volt, and a little microphone, and head your candy ass down there and start yapping. Get some signs made up. Protesting the same thing, tyranny from the government. Why do you need 20 signs? Why does this have to be a continual, well, let's plan about it, let's take a month or two, and then you've got the second gun rights event in blah, 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 Pennsylvania on February such and such, but then you've got the second national gun rights event in Bleed, Virginia in the middle of March. What kind of organization? You look retarded. Why are we doing this on a mass scale to where the mainstream media can't even ignore it? Gotta get on out of here, folks. We will be back tomorrow. And we will continue to spread more freedom, and we will continue to try and get people organized. And we will continue to try and fight this damn tyranny on the Last Voice for Liberty Network.
When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. The utmost manifestation of love and devotion to America is today, as it always has been, resistance of tyranny.